many hearts have you broken with those great big beautiful eyes? Those great big beautiful eyes that tell such beautiful lies.
How many times have you kissed somebody like you kissed me then? I don't.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all ships at sea. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message from the Prepared Mind Network.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state
are a bunch of cocksuckers. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind. Roger here, checking in for John today. The poor son of a bitch has had it. He needed a fucking break, so he asked me to come on the show. I stopped by Studio Prepared Mind and thought I would give you a piece of my fucking mind today. Let's see. We got Oliver in the house. He'll fuck you up. Jolene, probably the best person on the planet. And, well, you know, I tell you what, all you guys are actually, in my opinion, the best people on the fucking planet. We got some problems. Let's talk about it. I want to start with a story, and a lot of it's from the Gateway Pundit because, well, shit, they fucking nailed it. You know, sometimes we can say some cool things on this channel. Other times, hell, let the smart people say them. They know what the fuck they're talking about. All we got to do is quote them. Well, here we are, folks. From the Gateway Pundit, the real reason the woke leftist scumbags are choosing to become allies with the baby murdering, girl killing, woman raping, geriatric murdering terrorists. I added a little bit to their headline there. They have to pardon me. Oh, that's good stuff there. Anyways. Let's get into it. I'm going to read you some shit here. And everyone needs to hear how violent the world has gotten and how violent the world is going to get. Are you prepared? It's a serious question. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You know, maybe a plan or two about what the hell's going on. Also want to send out kudos to everybody behind the scenes who sends money into the Prepared Mind, pays the bills, gets shit done, buys some scotch. Cheap-ass stogies, you fucking name it. Anyways, I've had it. I've had it with these left-wing people. John's had it. Jimmy's had it. Uman's had it. Well, you know, but we're very reasonable humans. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about these people who need to be getting what they deserve. So let's start with this. Have you noticed how no Israeli, and I don't have to pick sides here, folks. All I have to do is point. Listen to the jihadi lying sacks of shit out of Palestine, the Gaza people. 98% hate your guts. You haven't done anything wrong. The bad people are in D.C., you know, the deep state. But they hate your guts and they'll kill you in a split second. And of course, all these Democrats and Rhino Republicans are their good buddies, sucking up to them. Even the queers for Palestine want to act like, oh, yeah, they're going to be our buddies. Yeah, they're not going to be your buddies in any way, especially not your butt buddies. No Israeli is screaming for the murder and genocide of Gaza, Palestinians, or anyone. Don't you think it's quite a difference in behavior? Quite a difference in verbiage? How bellicose and vociferous the asshole Palestinians and terrorists sound. Oh, as well as the Democrats and leftists in this country. For example, that's right, folks. I don't have to make shit up. I can give you what has been put down by the Democrats. Representative Ilhan Omar, disgusting Democrat out of Minnesota. House of Representatives member, huh? Right? Oh, yeah. When Hamas did their massacre, she responded by putting an image of dead children wrapped in white. And she put a caption on it, child genocide in Palestine. 614 Palestinian children murdered by Israeli IDF forces. And she's such an idiot, folks. That was an in quote after forces. She's such an idiot. She wrote Israeli IDF forces. IDF stands for Israeli Defense Forces. You don't have to fucking put the extra words in there, but she's a retard. But by the way, these children were not murdered by Israel or the Israeli Defense Forces. The picture she put up was of children who had been killed in 2013 in a sarin nerve gas attack up in Syria. Allegedly. That's the picture she used. They don't have any pictures, folks. Now, apart from the political idiocy of someone who has the IQ of a fucking potato. Oh, by the way, this is what is this? What did John want to call this? Taco Tuesday. Actually, that was my idea to put a taco in there and call it Talk-O. Anyways, get your questions below because I'm going to answer your questions as well. Now, that was a politician. You can expect them to lie, especially when they're from another country. Why the fuck is anyone in our Congress representing our people from another country? Makes no sense. Anyways, let's move on. Oh, no. Let me explain. It used to be 250 freaking years ago, they figured anyone that came to America wanted freedom, liberty, truth, justice, no tyranny, no lies, no bullshit. They gave people too much fucking credit. And they thought, yeah, you can represent the Americans because if you come here, it's because you want to be an American. Lo and behold, luckily they got the whole domestic and foreign terrorists, foreign and domestic enemy terrorists, correct. But they didn't think that a representative would come here to shit on this country. What a dumb bitch. Anyways, let us continue. At New York's Cornell University, 21-year-old Patrick Dye, D-A-I, he posted, folks, using a pretend name, a pseudonym, quote, Jew genocide. And this clown threatened to stab and slit the throats of Jewish men on campuses and rape and throw off of cliffs Jewish women and behead Jewish babies. Oh, in front of their parents, of course. Now, that is according to courtroom papers, folks. This dumb son of a bitch, Patrick Dye, threatened to, quote, bring an assault rifle to campus and shoot all you pig Jews. Now, once again, let me back up. This article from Gateway Pundit is about the real reason these woke leftist dumb sons of bitches are choosing to become the allies and butt buddies of baby murdering, woman raping, mass murderous terrorists. This is what's going on, folks. Now, get this. The dumb son of a bitch, Patrick Dye, right? Oh, no, wait a minute. Let me switch gears. Now we're going to go to Cornell. And this isn't a student. It's a professor, folks. Professor. It's derived from the word to profess. Someone who has something to say, something to teach. This is what this professor professes. Russell Rickford. He thought the mass terror was great. The pro-Hamas piece of shit at a rally said it was exhilarating. It was exhilarating. It was engaging, energizing. He didn't say engaging. He said energizing. That's who these people are, folks. These leftist wackos. Now, I don't want you to think there's just a couple of examples. There's a shit pile of examples. And I'm not going to go through them all here. We don't have that kind of time. But at New York's Cooper Union, which is a private college, Jewish students locked themselves from the pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, anti-Jewish, anti-American, pro-terrorist, pro-murder, pro-kill babies groups that were beating at the doors, screaming and attempting to get at the Jewish students in the library. Now, we go from Cooper Union to Philly's Drexel University. And there was a fire set at the Jewish students' dorm room. At Florida State, the Students for Democratic Society hosted a protest called Palestinian Resistance. And they want Israel to, quote, be wiped off the map. Now, will you be silent about these bastards attacking the Jews and Israelis? Are you going to stand up for the Jews? Are you going to stand up for the Israelis? Serious. You going to stand up for the Russians? Are you going to stand up for the Ukrainian people the way we do? That's right. We stand up for the Ukrainians. Not Zelensky and the government, but for people who are being sent to the front line to be slaughtered. Slaughtered. I stand up for the Ukraine people. I sit down and would fart on the head of Zelensky, except he may enjoy it, the little bastard. But are you going to be silent, folks? Are you going to continue to be silent as they kill people around the world? Or are you going to speak up and criticize the deep state, a cadre of bastards? Fucking try me. Try anyone. Now, I found it fascinating before we fucking move on. The people out there criticizing the Marines who were wearing their dress blues out for a good time in San Antonio, who were attacked by a group of thugs who fought back. And I read some of the comments on these stories, and I've been watching it because I want to know if these guys are getting charged with crimes by San Antonio. And I hear a couple of fucking scumbags out there saying, oh, these Marines don't look like the ones in the TV and the movies. They look soft, like little soy boys. Number one, did you see what they did to the street thugs? Number two, the reason people look the way they do in the movies is because they're in the fucking movies. Not everyone looks like Dolph Lundgren or Carl Weathers or me. Most people are normal, but it's the training and mental discipline, the prepared mind, that makes a fucking difference. But tell you what, folks, there's trolls out there. There's liars, there's thieves, there's trolls, and they're all wishing for our death. Are you going to be silent in America when they slaughter other people, when they call for the death of everyone? What happens when they come for you, America? What happens? Now, let's ask some questions. How is it that Americans support blatant, in-your-face, unapologetic hatred and support for cold-blooded murder and genocide? Well, you and I don't support that, but these young, stupid pieces of shit, as well as college professors, all seem to support it. Not all students and not all professors. But we're seeing and hearing enough of it that it is a serious problem, especially when they surround, threaten, and then assault people. Now, there's a journalist out there. His name is Christopher Rufo. And he wanted to shed a little light, right? And he wrote an article called Intersectionality Devolves. Left-wing radicals have long supported the violent decolonization of Israel. It's a rather sonorous and long-winded fucking title. And it uses and starts with a word that I can't fucking understand nor give a shit about. Intersectionality. Who gives a fuck? It should just say, asswipe college students devolve. Oh, I get that. Now, he traced the history of Black Lives Matter and realize that they are wildly anti-Israel. And the group's Marxist lesbian leader says BLM modeled its mission after the Palestinians' cause. Well, that's fucking interesting. In other words, folks, the woke, and this comes from Gateway Pundit, confused left-leaning young people like the Americans who are indoctrinated continually in the, quote, undiluted Marxist paradigm of oppressors versus oppressed. And so these kids are programmed to see all white people, even themselves, as oppressors and all, quote, people of color as oppressed. Sound fucking familiar to you? So in a reflexive, self-hating manner, according to Mr. Ruffo, these scumbag moron idiots defend baby torturing terrorists who are at least the correct color in their schizoid brains. And so Ruffo has this quote. This helps explain the shockingly perverse worldview of many young Americans brainwashed by public education, higher education, and, of course, social media. So I say, pick a side. You want war and death for all? That seems to be the leftist paradigm. Fuck it, let's just fight and kill everybody. War, death for everyone. Or choose the side of good and peace. Well, like we at the Prepared Mind do. But I want all the scumbag communists, terrorists, socialists, Democrats, rhino Republicans, and idiot bureaucrats. I want you to not be fooled. Those who seek peace are not pacifists, but rather we are intelligent people who understand what is best for humanity while remaining warriors of good and righteousness. I think that's a fair statement to throw out there. What do you guys want to talk about? Now, I'll tell you this. It is Thanksgiving week. We'll have Thanksgiving off. Friday, be back. Do Sunday Night Live. And then next week, we got some interesting things going on. We'll wait till we get there to share them. Lots to talk about. By the way, the game is over for Z-Man, Voldemort Zelensky in Ukraine. He needs to cash in his chips before he gets greased, before a wet boy comes and does a little work with him. The CIA director, Mr. Burns, made a not quite so CIA secret visit over to Kiev, folks. And the question that is now on the minds of everyone within the Beltway, they're asking if the U.S. is ready to tell Zelensky that he needs to agree to a ceasefire and maybe even a peace treaty. We're going to find out, folks. Let's see, how many Ukrainians had to die in this war before Zelensky realized he was outmatched? Mentally, they were outmatched physically. They were outmatched militarily by a completely, how do we put this about the Russians? Old school, lots of iron, in the mud, heavy-duty Russian military machine. Yeah, they do have a lot of high tech as well, from hypersonic missiles to peer-to-peer, or rather peer-to-victim drone kamikaze smart bombs. Okay. It's just going to get better, folks. It's just going to get better. The left is projecting who they are. Now, Joe Scarborough, who is an MSNBC jackass, he had another unhinged Trump derangement syndrome fit because it looks like Donald Trump is going to make it back into the race. No problem. He's leading Joe Biden. No problem. And so what he does is he goes on TV and throws a fit, projecting Democrat guilt and thought everywhere. Absolutely amazing. Here's what he said about Donald Trump. Joe Scarborough says about Donald Trump, quote, "He will execute whoever he is allowed to imprison." Got it, Joe. Because that's what that's what Donald Trump did last time he was in the White House. He executed everybody. He imprisoned everybody. No, that has been Joe fucking Biden. And he would like to execute everyone that he puts in prison. That is pure Democrat socialist scumbag projection. Accuse your political enemy of that which you do or wish to do. Unbelievable. And let's keep on with this. The pile of shit witch of New York, Governor Hochul, has announced that New York as a state is going to have their version of the, quote, Ministry of Truth, right? And from kindergarten through 12th grade, they want to combat conspiracy theories, misinformation, disinformation, and online hate. Don't you love how they make a distinction between misinformation and disinformation? As if there's a whole lot of fucking difference. And then they pile it in with conspiracy theories. Now, I heard a very serious report the other day that there is going to be a shortage of conspiracy theories because so many of them are coming true. And thank you, Mr. Skylight, for that one. I think it would be faster in New York. It would be faster and more effective if they deported all Democrats over to Palestine. You love Palestinians? You support them? You support Gaza? Get your asses over there and go help them out. Right? Go serve pancakes and hamburgers and whatever else you think they need over there. Get on over there. Help those poor bastards out because they got it so bad. Hypocritical liars. Every last one of these Democrats, folks. Now, as we move along here, Chin Music has a pseudonym. F.U. Nikki Haley. Oh my God. There's someone using the name John Cocktoston, which is a Chevy Chase name. It was a pseudonym he used in a movie, Fletch. John Cocktoston. And he responded to the New York Times. He says, even the garbage can known as the New York Times is now admitting that teachers' unions and the Democrats have damaged children's lives in ways we can't imagine yet. And they did joyfully while calling the rest of us names and demonizing and dehumanizing people who had honest reservations. You are scum. Stop claiming you care about kids. The evidence says otherwise. You are exposed and we are looking straight at you. Bury your heads in shame if you have any. And I think that's fucking great. I'm so glad John Cocktoston responded to the New York Times. And the article actually was, the startling evidence on learning loss is in. That's right. The educational losses suffered by children because of people like Governor Hochul. I hate that bitch. What a terrible human. And of course, the other, why does she look like sisters of the Attorney General in Michigan, Nasser, and the governor, Gretchen, the Nazi Grinch of Michigan? They do. They look, folks. They look like witches. It's just disgusting. Every last one of these people, folks. The Democrats. Do you feel safe on the street? Let's ask the question. Ask the question, do you feel safe? Well, do you, punk? Everyone should know that one, right? All right. Checking in on Jolene. Checking in on Uman. Folks, this is the state of the nation. 3 Utes who carjacked a Louisiana governor, a grandmother. Did I say grandmother or governor? A Louisiana grandmother. Guess what they did? They got a plea deal, no charges. What did they do? They carjacked and then they murdered, dismembered, meaning cut her to pieces. Here it is again. Let me give you the headline, right? 3 Utes who carjacked and dismembered a beloved Louisiana grandmother strike a sweetheart plea deal, no murder charges. How is this in a sane world even remotely possible? Do you feel safe? This elderly lady deserved it, right? Well, she was already dying, so who cares? What difference does it make anyhow, says Hillary. And she was probably taking too much Social Security, right? Really, folks, this is America. If you are killed, injured, assaulted, hospitalized, crippled, murdered, they're just letting murderers go now. Fuck it. Why bother? That's why you need to protect yourself. It is your right. Don't look to the state to protect you. They couldn't give a shit. Don't look to the feds to protect you. They don't give a shit. Don't look at the local police to protect you. They don't give a shit. All they'll do is show up, put a tag on your toe, write a report, and go home and have dinner with their family because that's important to them. Go home to dinner. I went home tonight. I did a good job as a cop. Well, fucking A, thank you very much. That's what qualifies, huh? That's what qualifies. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Who are the Democrats, folks? Who are they? In California, someone received a 700-year sentence. Seems kind of extreme, doesn't it? Last time I heard of someone living 700 years, I think it was Methuselah. Well, this is a male nanny. Who the fuck ever heard of a male nanny? Well, this dumb son of a bitch, this awful human, molested 16 boys, young boys. And not only did he do that, but he filmed himself doing it. Why is this guy getting a 700-year sentence? He is the poster boy for Democrats. He is the poster boy for the LGBTQ plus movement and agenda. He was just educating them, right? To the normal sexual contact with adults, right, Bidens? Right, Pelosi's of the world? That's what they want us to believe. Minor attracted persons, they're just fine. Teaching young children about sex, hey, firsthand, what better way to learn? These sick bastards actually want that right now. It's interesting and shocking at the same time that California decided to sentence this guy for 700 years. He must have been a Trump supporter, and that's why they're throwing the book at him and then some. Unbelievable, folks. Wow. Now, I just said this jackass is the poster boy for Democrats, right? 700 years. Well, an ex-Maryland Democrat mayor. That's right, folks. A Democrat, a politicized individual, someone who was elected mayor in Maryland. Well, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Well, from 150 years. He was supposed to get 150 years for what? Because he had a child porn case involving over 500 victims. But get this, his prison sentence was taken from 150 down to 30, and he'll be eligible for parole in 7.5 years. Once again, poster boy for the Democrats. Being an LGBTQ plus pedophile and a Democrat politician creates a minimal jail sentence. How perfect. After all, he's just a minor attracted person, and it's a minor attracted person's world, isn't it? I guess they're cutting him a break. Instead of 700 years, they'll give him 7.5 years, right, for good behavior. Why? Why does this guy get this leniency thrown at him? Is Maryland worse than California? I wonder. Makes me wonder. But that's who the Democrats are. Do not lose sight of who the bad guys are. Unbelievable. Let's do this. Mr. Uman, Ms. Jolene, let's go to the inner circle right now. Okay, who wants to step up first today on this Taco Tuesday? And it's a guy named Charles Gentry. He says, I think they're going to squeeze one more holiday shopping season, then drop the hammer on us. I used to think that shit like that mattered, Charles. I really did. I thought the banks wanted to fuck us over just a little more. Stores that are woke, left-wing piece of shit stores like, what was it, Kohl's, Target, Amazon, like they just needed a little more money. You know what? They don't give a fuck, Charles. They don't need this holiday season. They can print all the money they want. They can confiscate all the wealth they want through a system known as inflation. You bet. Any corporation, guess what? They're behind, they're in debt. All they got to do is raise prices. And the profit margin goes from an itty bit to a lot more. Takes care of their debt, no problem. Inflation is a way for the government and corporations to write off a shit pile of debt. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't help people with a mortgage, but what? I have to engage in debt stupidity in order to benefit from massive inflation? I still have a hard time paying the fucking bills when a gallon of gas is over $4. Folks, I'm telling you, prices have gone crazy. But we'll see. Hey, here's the deal, Charles. When they want it to go, that's when they'll pull the plug on us. Don't think there's a magic date in front of us. It's going to be January 15th, the Martin Luther King Day. That's going to be when. No. We've heard dates for years. You can ask Uman down there. Just send a message right there. Put it in the comments. Uman, how many dates have you heard where that's the end of it? The system's going to collapse. This date here. Inflation's going to go up this date here. They're going to have a cyber attack this date here. The power is going to go off on this day here. Hitler's going to be resurrected on this day. Well, unfortunately, the days are never right. But we do see a continual move down and down and down and down into the world of a hellish SHTF scenario involving all of us. I think that is probably an accurate statement. All right, Mr. Uman. He said, lost track when I ran out of fingers and toes to count them on. That's about right. Okay. What do we got next? We got the prepared mother. Oh, it's Orlando checking in. Wonder how my good buddy Orlando's doing. He says, John, the shit is surely hitting the fan in the Middle East. I'm predicting that shit is going to spill over and pop off here in the U.S. by summer or sooner. Now, holiday season, calendar seasons, the one season that matters coming up that I think has a significance is election season. They need to steal another election from you and me, the American people. That's what they need. They need to make sure Trump doesn't get in the White House. Or if they do, listen, folks, they've proven they can steal elections. They've proven it. No doubts. The only way Trump will become president again is if the Democrats and the deep state allow him to win. If they don't fight very hard, if they don't cheat as much. There's no one out there prosecuting entire fucking counties and election officials. If the FBI was real, folks, they would be arresting the entire lot of them the way they went out and found every January 6er. You think it's a fucking mystery to these people in the FBI who these election engineering sons of bitches are that stole the election? No, there's a roster of them. Their names are lined up. Go arrest them all, put them in jail, threaten them with lifelong jail sentences unless they start squealing on each other and confessing to their crimes. They stole the fucking election, folks. You think they can't do it again? Because they're not all going to jail. Nope. Nope, hardly any of them are going to jail. They're willing to go to jail for it, folks, but not all of them. They'll steal it again if they want and if they need. But if they want to give it to Trump, they'll let him become president. That's right. You heard it from the wise mouth of Roger. They let him win. It's because they need the violence. That's right. They need the violence. They want the violence. They're ready to let America destroy itself. Like a body fighting cancer. It'll destroy itself trying to kill the enemy. Look out. Great comment, great topic. I appreciate you throwing it out there. All right, Jolene Uman, what do we got next? We got Charles Gentry. He says, unfortunately, this is what happens when you have to work and allow the system to raise our children and instill their ideas behind our backs. Too busy to pay attention. I'll tell you what, you could make that an argument a couple decades ago, but still, back in the 90s, when I was a young construction, shall we say, apprentice and then journeyman, I worked on houses where people had classrooms set up, where one of the parents of the local neighborhood was the teacher, had teacher's credentials, and wanted to teach the children of the neighborhood at their house. They had home schools. They did not allow this shit to happen. They knew back in the 90s what was going on, enough to understand their children deserved an education and not to turn into indoctrinated fools. Now, when you have to work, that doesn't give me the excuse for not understanding what's out there, Charles, any more than you allow it as an excuse for yourself. We need to stop allowing it as an excuse for the rest of America. Well, I'm too busy. I've got enough on my mind. I'm dealing with this and that. I got family. I got 2 jobs even. Well, I got 3 fucking jobs and I work how many hours a day? There's no excuse anymore. Nope. No, you can't say, well, I'm busy while the world is fucking burning. Doesn't work. I don't allow it. Too busy to pay attention. These are all excuses they use, right? You and I know, and I'm tired of hearing that excuse. It's someone else's problem. I elect politicians to take care of that for me. Yeah, how's that fucking working? Right? Would you allow an attorney to represent you if they were doing a shitty job? Would you allow that attorney to get into your bank account and steal all your money? I'm not yelling at you, Charles, by the way. I'm talking to everybody. No. You'd be like, hey, I'm responsible for this attorney's power and authority. I'm not going to let them screw me over. lose a case, steal my money, steal my property, screw up my life? No. You would stop that attorney the moment they started fucking up. Yet, we're supposed to allow these bastards in D.C. and our state capitals to continue to screw us. They're not doing it behind our backs. They're doing it to our faces now. Sending fucking drag queens into the schools. These child molesting perverts in office. I am not saying go out and commit acts of violence or break the law. I'm saying shit's going to get nasty. It has to get nasty. If it doesn't, things are just going to get worse and worse and worse. I tell you, there's a good article on here. I thought it was pretty important. I'm going to find it real quick. I could have sworn I sent it because I knew I'd be on the show today. Where the heck is it? Where the heck is it? There is so much going on today, folks. I couldn't get it all. Well, by the way, politicians are being attacked internationally because physically, violently attacked internationally because there are scumbags out there objecting to the fact that they have been elected by the people or they're running for office and they don't like their belief system. So it's time to attack. Oh, here's a great one. Fruit Loops. How fucking appropriate is this? Fruit Loops gives children vouchers to get free books on diversity, equity, and inclusion. A digital library of leftist, lunatic, Marxist, perverted shit. Oh, that makes perfect fucking sense. Let's do more of that. Unbelievable. But believe it, folks, it's real. It's absolutely real. And the world has decided, expert after expert is realizing that the Democrats are Satanists. They've actually done that. They've put together and concluded that they must be children of Satan because everything they do is wrong and evil. How can you argue against that, folks, when you look at everything the left does? What happens if you and I quit fighting? What happens if Uman and I and Jolene and everyone, all of you, quit coming here? What happens if every YouTube channel shut down out there, folks? What happens if everyone on Instagram, everyone on X, Twitter, everyone on BitChute, everyone out there just quit doing it, quit talking about what's going on, and just folded like a cheap suit? What would happen to this country? Oh, the SHTF would go so bad, so fast, I think heads would spin. And spin and spin and spin. Wow. Here it is right here. Wayne Root, folks. He is about as close to the mainstream media and be someone who loves liberty and freedom. He's about as close to the mainstream media as we can get. And he asked this question, quote, "It's time to start asking, is Satan in charge of the Democrat Party?" Who's in charge of the Democrat Party these days?
Be Satan.
It could be Satan. Look at everything they're doing. Now, joke, yes. Funny, no doubt. Factual, prove me wrong. And for everybody out there on the left, there is an open invitation, by the way. Absolute open invitation to get your ass kicked by me or any number of patriots, veterans, hardcore Americans, sportsmen, veterans. We're out here. And Vikings, of course. Any of you communists or Democrats want to have a boxing match, a full contact, I don't know, mixed martial art even. We're here for you. We're going to help you out. I put on some more weight and some more muscle. I'm now 285 pounds. So if one of you little pipsqueaks out there, one of you little soy boy fruitcakes, you want to have a contest, we'll have some fun. Just get a hold of us here. I would love to help you out. I would love to solve your problems for you. I tell you, folks, really felt good seeing those Marines fighting those scumbags in the streets. It used to be great watching the Proud Boys do the same. It used to be great watching the Oath Keepers protect freedom and liberty at events to make sure Antifa and BLM didn't show up and start terrorizing, harassing, and assaulting people. And it is too bad that Joe Biden, Merrick the Buttlick Garland, the FBI under Chris Wray, and everyone else has allowed these people to continue to run wild while they arrest and stopped our patriotic men who volunteered to protect us. It's fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating. I find it incredible that these thugs on the street, they won't stand up to the police like the ones in San Antonio, but they tried standing up to real Americans in uniform. This made me think some more. Well, police wear uniform. The police wear a uniform. They got a badge and a gun also. So very few people stand up to them. I find it fascinating, though, that these scumbags would stand up to Marines or soldiers wearing their dress uniforms, knowing that those men, folks, those men are willing to stand between the enemies of freedom and liberty and these people who have no respect for the uniform. They're not getting paid a shit pile of money. They're doing it because they love America. And folks, the Marines were all out here still. The Army veterans were still out here. You guys are in big fucking trouble on the left. You're going to find out someday. Your day is coming. For now, let's do some more questions. Man, Jolene, who is up? Hey, this is through the club, the preparedmind.club. And it's from Oorah E4. We got a corporal on board here, 1974 to 1978. Semper Fi, John. Oh, boy. He says 10 Mile Alpine. He was early, or rather, the early part of his career was late in Vietnam era. Right after Saigon, or right at Saigon. Semper Fi, man. Got a big hoorah there. There's Marines out here. God bless you all. There's soldiers out there. God bless you all. It's going to be time, folks. High time. Let's do another question, another comment, another thought on this Thanksgiving week. Got Mikey G checking in. He says, I still think Mr. Z will follow the example of the Afghan president and vice president and disappear into the sunset with duffel bags full of cash. That's why I said he better cash in his chips. He better get the hell out of the casino, because nobody ever really leaves the casino with all the money they think they've won. Right? It's just not how that game has worked. All those pretty lights, fancy carpet and fixtures, all that shit, it's not free. Someone's paying for it, and it's us. Yeah, but Z-Man, he can sneak out the pile of shit. But in this world, is there any place for him to hide? How many Voldemort Zelensky lookalikes are there? Little, short, scraggly, light in the loafers, skinny jeans, wearing fruitcakes. Well, apparently there's a few of them, just like there's several Joe Bidens. And there's certainly several Hillary Clintons out there. Very scary. Imagine waking up one day and looking in the mirror and going, oh, man, I look like Hillary? Holy shit. Lost that bet. Right? Anyways, yeah, I'm with you, Mikey. The little bastard is probably at some point going to run for his life. If he sticks around in Kiev, it's going to be his ass. It is. If it isn't the CIA, it's going to be the GRU or the KGB, or it's going to be Interpol or maybe Mossad. Someone will rub him out for failing. Right? But he's done a good job for the World Economic Forum. He's done a great job obeying the United States government in D.C. Zelensky's done a fabulous job reducing the number of Ukraine people that are emitting carbon dioxide. He's shown how willing Ukraine and the people are to give up their lives for a cause that was well known to have failed. I mean, did they really think that a bunch of half-trained, half-wits with used equipment that the other militaries were throwing away? I mean, they did give them some good stuff too, trust me. But did they really think that they were going to beat the Russians at their own game? Folks, the Russians fought this the way they fought in World War II, just with some higher tech toys. They will beat you through attrition. They're willing to lose 10,000 men to take 10,000 of your men or more, and they did. They're willing to take heavy losses and fight in the fucking trenches. And what did the Ukrainians do? Hid in tunnels like Gaza rats until they were bombed out or starved out. Well, either or, Zelensky's rats lost. And I would have hated to have been a mercenary in there under the control of these idiots. I mean, do you really believe that the Ukraine military leaders really knew their shit? The fucking Russians, folks, they fight war the way they fight war. Now, they got their asses kicked in Afghanistan. That was the Soviet Union, Russia's form of Vietnam. But they fought in Afghanistan not the way Russians fight. They're fighting in Ukraine the way Russians fight. They take advantage of the terrain. They take advantage of the weather. They take advantage of everything, and they just beat the shit out of you. And that's what they've done. What a fucking mess. I'm not rooting for the Russians, folks. Just looking at the facts. Everyone in West Point should be learning from what was just taught to them. If you're not going to go nuclear, you're going to have to fight the hard way with these fucking people. Now, could the United States, NATO, Britain, France, and other countries used high-tech missiles from afar and attacked Russia? Sure. Could they have really put a hurt on the Russian military using even more satellite technology, more military technology? Well, they use quite a bit of our military technology, but yeah, they could have done more damage if the U.S. had attacked directly. But then what would stop Russia from stepping it up and sending some hypersonic missiles into London, Paris, Madrid, Rome, Stuttgart, and took out the Porsche factory? That'd be awful. Awful. Anyways, let's continue. How many more questions we got? What do we got out there? Who's next? We got Cyber Hana checking in. She said this, on a side note, and by the way, I love side notes and taking tangents. Ramaswamy is not who he appears. He is a graduate from the Young Nobles, which is a program at the World Economic Forum. And George Goro paid for his entire education. That's right. George Soros, a.k.a. George Goros, paid for Vivek Ramaswamy to become a World Economic Forum stooge. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, whose name I just love to say, he has denied it. He has disowned George Goros, right? He has tried distancing himself from it. I believe it and I don't believe it. And here's why I don't believe it. Because it pays him money. Here's why I do believe it. Because Vladimir Putin also was part of this program. this let's do a World Economic Forum, invite everyone to it and sucker them all in. But except the one problem is Putin, he didn't bite down on the hook. He didn't swallow the pill. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid. And the evidence I have rests on one thing. Russia does not have Western banking cartels loaning the Russian government money. They have kept the bankers out, and Russia has kept its sovereignty. You'll notice Russia is not open to unending, uncontrolled mass immigration from third world shitholes, importing Western liberal LGBTQ plus ideology, critical race theory, and anything else that would destroy Russian culture, government, law, etc. There's your proof right there that Russia is not part of the game through Putin. They want to get rid of Putin, folks. They want to kill Putin. They want Putin dead. They keep reporting that Putin has cancer. Yet there he is. Interesting shit. Jolene, who's next? We've got, thank you, Cyber Hunter, by the way. We've got an open artificial intelligence chat GPT founder and chief executive officer Sam Altman. He got himself fired shortly after testifying to Congress, urging lawmakers to closely regulate all AI. Closely regulate AI, artificial intelligence, or, quote, risk great damage to humanity. Coincidence? Nope, not at all. There are no coincidences. Not at that level. He spoke out against artificial intelligence because he sees how dangerous it is. Now, they could go Skynet and turn on us. Could actually go Skynet and turn on the Democrats. They're going to realize that, folks, the computer won't rely on bullshit agenda. The computer will, the artificial intelligence supercomputers will do a better job at coming up with plans, but not to help Sorge Goros win. Anyways, yeah, there's going to be a big battle, more SHTF surrounding artificial intelligence. Let us move on if we shall. On this Taco Tuesday, it is Chin Music stepping in. He says, one of the Clinton people who debunked Pizzagate just got popped for grazing in the playground also. That's right, another pizza and hot dogs, minor-attracted political scumbag is now, well, getting themselves in trouble. These people can't help themselves, folks. They're sick. Now, nobody is perfect, but nobody is as sick as these fuckers in D.C. and what they're willing to do. For a buck to hurt someone else, they're really that sick. Now, more on this other part later. I'll talk to the boys about it later. I meet a lot of sick people in life doing what I do. And they do it for little bits of money and to put the hurt on little people. Imagine the satisfaction these sick, sadistic fucks in D.C. get, hurting millions of people and enjoying every second of it. I know of one such pile of shit, and he is a menacing, destructive narcissist. And the amount of pleasure he takes in making little people hurt is incredible. I can't imagine the joy that someone like Prickster or Gretchen Whitmer or Hochul or Nancy Pelosi, I can't imagine the glee these pieces of shit get when they hurt not just one or two, but hundreds and thousands and millions of people with their sick problems. Thank you, Chin Music. Keep fighting, brother. And let's, I know we're running out of time and we're running out of questions. Here we are. We got name redacted. He says, whenever it happens, it will be done. And when it does, the most damage on purpose for purpose. You bet. You and I don't get to choose when the bad stuff happens. And let's just imagine that someone out here, thank you, Jolene, someone out here decided they were going to go Rambo for real, and someone were to go Rambo for real, the government wouldn't give up. They wouldn't back down. They wouldn't say, oh, shit, we've been caught. And it wouldn't matter if 1, 2, or 20 senators, Democrats, Rhino Republicans, regular Republicans, congressmen, judges, governors. It wouldn't matter if 100 of them were killed by this Rambo guy. It would just give them an excuse to start the next phase of their program, the next phase of tyranny. Let's finish up with that last quote, and we'll move on and keep moving on. Jolene, who do we got there? Oh, that was it. We're all done for now. We're done for today. I'll see you 0 dark 30, and I might just have a better attitude. Don't count on it. Chance favors the prepared mind. I'm glad you are a prepper with me. Semper Fi. Godspeed.